What's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the politics and BS. So it came out when it was reported that Janet Jackson made the comments about Kamala's ethnicity, and I heard she's not really black, that she's really Indian and her dad is white. Just stupid stuff that isn't even relevant when it comes to her running for office, but because we live in this society where they make race an issue to divide and conquer, she played into that hand. Well, it's looking like the comments that she made and the reason she fired her assistant who tried to save face for her and issue a public apology, and he pretty much let us know that he was fired for trying to do some PR for her. So she was pretty much letting people know, I meant what I said and I'm not backing down. It goes back to Michael Jackson. So we know that Kamala is a former prosecutor. Well, she meant what she said because reports are resurfacing that suggest that there's some sort of feud between them that goes back to 2004. So, according to TMZ, Kamala remarked in a resurfaced video clip saying, quote, "In general, the child will be able to recall and recollect some detail, the incident, and that is persuasive to a jury, even if it is the only testimony that is available." So we know that he was acquitted on all of those charges. A lot of people have their thoughts about that situation, but that stuff it's gone. It made history, it happened, and Michael Jackson is no longer here. But Kamala, she was asked the question, and she was speaking from the space of being a prosecutor. And that's what a lot of people are hung up on, especially a lot of black men who are talking about, she locked up a lot of black men. I ain't voting for no prosecutor. I ain't voting for no black woman. And as a matter of fact, she ain't really black, right? Which is all ridiculous. If you look at her record, the things that a lot of people are saying about her, it's not even true. But yet and still, I understand Janet Jackson feeling some type of way because that's her family and she was looking out for her family, and she maybe didn't like the answer that she gave to a question that she was asked. But with all of that being said, in her selfishness, to be asked about Kamala, she could have just said no comment. She didn't have to go into the ethnicity thing because, again, I stand on what I said. I felt like it was extremely hypocritical coming from the space of someone who has biracial family members. Let's get off of the plastic surgery that she had. You know, I don't even like the thing about white nose and all that other stuff. Anyway, that was her personal decision, and it's about trying to make it about her ethnicity when that is irrelevant in the first place. So if she doesn't like Kamala, she could have just said no comment. Next question. She didn't have to go into the racist tropes that people on the right and in that MAGA crew like to harp on, talking about she ain't really black. She was claiming she was Indian. Now she's saying she's black. She didn't work at McDonald's. She never dropped the fries. She never made any shakes. She never did any Whoppers. That's Burger King, right? Anyway, I'm just saying all of the stuff that's irrelevant. If she doesn't like Kamala, then she should have just left it there instead of looking as if she is somebody who is a part of the MAGA crew. But when it comes to her and her money, I could see her being that way because it's not a far-fetched thing. There are a lot of people that look like her who have gotten to the status that they are, and they feel like all I care about is me and my family and screw everybody else. So even if it benefits you financially, you would go against the majority that would not be benefiting from the policies and the issues that MAGA and Trump want to enact. But because you're so selfish, all you think about is yourself and your family and your household. So you could give a damn about everybody else, right? So if you want to vote for Trump, that's your personal decision to do so. But to get into her ethnicity, I felt like that was crossing the line. She has a right to not like her. I'm not saying that she has to like Kamala. I'm not even saying that she has to vote for her. But it's the mere fact that she wanted to talk about her ethnicity is the thing that I have an issue with. Now, was DL Hughley wrong? Now, he made a comment on Twitter when she said what she said. And then he tweeted, Janet Jackson's interview sounded like a hashtag Trump rally. FYI, it's a little ironic to question whether someone is black while you're breathing through the nose of a white woman. Hashtag Team DI. Or maybe it's Team DL. I don't know. But was he wrong? He's a comedian and he's going to do stuff like that. I don't see him as someone that's just sold down for the Democratic Party. He is someone that really cannot stand Donald Trump, cannot stand this MAGA bullcrap, and he calls it out. And he was actually someone that was extremely super critical of Kamala before, and he was honest about it to say, you know what, I actually did my research, I did my homework, and I realized that a lot of the things that I was spewing about her was not factual, so I actually am going to apologize for that. So I will say that that was big of him to do that because he didn't have to do it. He could have doubled down and said, I said what I said, just like Janet Jackson. Now, was it wrong for him to call out her breathing through the nose of a white woman? Listen, whether you think the joke is funny or not, it was a joke. And two, it was just like to throw the hypocrisy in her face to say, how dare you talk about someone else's ethnicity when some would say that you deciding to get your nose downsized and contoured is because you're not happy with your own blackness. Let's just be clear, because that is not an old joke. It is something that a lot of people have talked about when it comes to not just the entire Jacksons, because it hasn't been all of them, but it was definitely mainly Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson, who are the two most famous Jacksons. And then we already know about LaToya, but that's another story. So he was making a joke while being serious at the same time. But was he wrong for saying what he said? I don't have an issue with what he said, because especially if Janet Jackson is going to double down in her stance with what she said and not apologize and actually fire the person who was just trying to save her face in the public, then he could say what he said. I don't have an issue with it. Not at all. But it's his personal opinion. I don't think that he did anything wrong. Whether you like him, think he's funny, he's not funny, or whatever, I'm not here to say I agree with everything when it comes to DL Hughley and what he says either. It's not about that. But Janet Jackson, to this day, she still has not come out to say anything with regards to backtracking or apologizing or saying I misspoke or I was misquoted or anything like that. So she's pretty much letting everyone know that, yeah, I said what I said. I don't care what people say. She ain't really black. I heard she's Indian and her dad is white. So that's what I'm going to believe. I'm going to believe what I heard versus the facts. So that just makes her look ignorant. So anyway, just let me know what you think about Janet Jackson and what DL Hughley had to say with regards to what she had to say and his little jab and joke that he threw in there at the same time. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.